Hi everybody, and welcome back to another Jumbo Talks. This is going to be a bit different. Now, I want to know if for those of you who have traveled abroad to southern countries, whether it's Latin America, even countries like in Africa, East Asia, when you visit those countries and you come back to wherever you're from, if it's from Canada, the United States, Europe, right, like a quote unquote first world country, right? What's your impression on those countries? Now, I'm going to talk from personal experience. I've been to China, and this was 17 years ago, a long time ago. Uh, I've also been to Senegal in West Africa. I've been to Brazil, Colombia, Peru. I went to France. Um, and out of all my experiences, I really enjoyed what we call global majority countries or global south countries, right? Or developing countries for a number of reasons. One being um, the people and the ability to have a comfortable life without having to make exorbitant amounts of money every year um, was amazing to see. It was awesome because here it's sort of the opposite. Depending again where you're from, and I found the cultures, especially in Colombia, Brazil, and Africa, to be extremely welcoming, extremely warm. People were really nice. I felt extremely safe. You know, when I walk around Ottawa at night, I don't feel safe as a man, right? Walking around, I feel uncomfortable. Um, Walking in Medellin, Colombia at 2 a.m. felt completely fine. I felt completely safe. Um, Same thing with Brazil. Same thing with Africa. Um, did not feel nervous at all. And it's also just the energy you get from, you know, any country you visit is going to be different no matter what, right? Even if they're neighbors, like they have different ways of doing things, different cultures, different outlooks on life, right? And one thing that really stood out to me, and it marked me, and I still think about it today. And I'm like, I need to go back. But Senegal, for those of you who don't know where Senegal is, it's in West Africa. It's on the most western tip of Africa, and man, those people are nice. I cannot say enough. I was completely taken aback at the amount of generosity that they share. Right. I remember I was walking on the beach. I went there with a friend who's from there, and we were walking on the beach, and I met this family, and we were talking, and we got to be. I mean, I think we talked there for like an hour or two. Um, and they're like, "Oh, do you want to come? Do you want to, have a meal?" And I was like, "Sure. Like, let's organize it. Like, let's make it happen." And you know, that was my first interaction with someone from Senegal, right? And it's like I don't know them, they don't know me, but they were so kind. Like they reminded me of New Brunswick, if you know where that is in Canada. It's an eastern province where they're known to be very welcoming to foreigners, and yeah, it was nice. The only thing I couldn't get used to be honest, was the heat, because I went there in like July, and it was hot. Like it gets really hot where I am in Canada right now, like especially in the summer times. It's really hot there. It's pretty nuts. But to get back to the whole, um, how do you feel once you come back to a first world country? I find every time I come back that things are missing. Like there are the feelings of community, the feelings of being part of a group, um, and just feeling like you can actually make it in terms of just financially and just, for example, buying a house and that kind of stuff. I come back and I feel that all those things aren't going to happen for me here, right? Um, it sort of makes me feel a little bit isolated, um, in a way, because, I was born and raised in Canada. I love my country. I'm happy to be born here. Um, but I feel that just there are certain key things that are just missing. Um, and I want to know if for those of you who have traveled abroad, if you get that same feeling, that same sensation. Um, like I remember I was in this little village in Colombia called Finlandia. And Finlandia it's a village that sort of harbors people who want to go to a national park that's nearby. And it reminded me a lot of where I'm from, right? It's in the middle of nowhere. You're surrounded by forest, and the locals there, they're just full of stories, full of just knowledge and history about the region, and you can just approach them and ask them questions, and they will be more than happy to discuss the village that they love, right? And talk to you and they're happy that you're there. They're happy that you're being able to visit where they're from, right? They're happy that you're able to share what they've experienced their whole lives, right? And it's a beautiful feeling. I really like that. Um, yeah, and I don't know. The more I travel, the more I feel almost disconnected from Canadian culture. The whole go to school, get a job, work for 30 years, retire, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Like I want to enjoy life, enjoy meeting new people, discovering different places, but without having the constant burden of the financial fear, right? Of it. And yeah, I feel that Canada is sort of lacking in that way, because even to travel across Canada costs you pretty much than to go to Europe, right? If you're going to leave Quebec and go all the way west to British Columbia, in terms of flight time, it's almost as long as to get to like Portugal, um, if not even longer, depending on like the plane you're on and so on. But the cost is insane. It's in some cases more expensive. You could take a flight to France and it would cost you less than to fly domestically through Canada. Like what? that that that's bizarre. Anywho's, I'm gonna end this there. But again, I love to share these kind of videos with you just to get people's opinion. I don't know. They're just things I think about, and I'd love to know your thoughts on the matter. If you feel similarly or differently, I'd love to know. And as always, I'll catch you next Jumbo Talks. Thanks for listening. Bye.